Welcome to today's class. They said, what? What? Reviews and testimonials. Again, my name is Kara. I am the National Education Manager for Realogy Title Group, and I have Mark with me today. Mark, how are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome, Kara. How are you doing?
I'm fabulous. I love Fridays. That's kind of my thing. But Mark is in Texas, and he is one of our national agent development trainers. So not only is he a really great expert doing different classes in Texas, he also does a lot of the stuff on our national team. So it's good to have you here today, Mark. Thank you. All right. You ready to kick this thing off?
I am ready.
All right, here we go. All right, so a review and a testimonial is kind of like a virtual or literatorial, like kind of just it's an applause. It's a form of a hey, way to go, I rock. And with that brings a lot of value to your office or to your business. Sorry. So what is the value of reviews and testimonials? Well, a lot of times people are going to see a good review. That's going to get you referrals. People are going to give you a review that solidifies in their head that wonderful experience that they had with you. And then what they're going to do is they're going to talk about it to the people that they know. And then when their needs come up for buying or selling, guess who they're going to think about? You. So in addition to that, if they had a great experience and they gave you that referral or that review, and it, again, reinforced in their head, what's going to happen when they go to buy or sell again? Who are they going to call? Not Ghostbusters, you. So there's a lot in that. And really, reviews are a way of building trust with your clients, with potential clients, and trust. With trust in a business really comes a strong opportunity to grow. But with that said, and we're not going to talk too much about the negative today because we're in a very positive mood, but negative reviews will work against you, which is why it's really, really important to strategize and make sure you have a good amount of positive reviews in your kind of back pocket ready to go. And then talking on all that trust part, Mark did an excellent job of digging up a little bit of some fun facts, some stats that we wanted to kind of share with you. So why is trust so important with marketing and growing your business? So Mark, you want to take it away?
Sure. If we think about it, we've always heard that adage, people do business with people who they know, like, and trust. And we find some data that supports that old adage. 97% of consumers surveyed that they searched for all of local businesses online. When they were looking to do business, they go online and do that Google search. And 73% of them said that the actual reviews made them trust businesses more. But look at this. Most of them believe that online reviews are just as valuable as a personal recommendation. So you can see the impact that it has on a business having positive reviews online for people to be able to access. And not only is the review process something that's important in terms of your clients believing who you are, but it kind of sets the tone for what kind of experience they're going to get from you. I mean, if you look at that most clients look at between 7 and 8 reviews before they actually make a decision. I mean, that's really powerful stuff, and it's definitely worthwhile in validating why they're so important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll kind of take it on a personal note for a second. I am an avid user of Amazon, and I have a habit of I literally will look at all the reviews, all the photos before I make a purchase. And if there are none, I'm a little skeptical. So I get that way. And then when it comes to like local businesses, I will tell you, I utilize reviews for restaurants all the time, especially the ones I hadn't been to. And then I love his little stat down there. 69% of recent home sellers surveyed said that they would gladly write you a review. Now, I will say you're going to miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So if you don't ask for that review, chances are you're not going to get it. And reviews tend to be an emotional response. So a lot of times people get so upset that they had a horrible experience and then they run to the computer and type it in and tell the world. it's very seldom that you're going to get someone type in the experience of how wonderful it was. So make sure you're asking for these reviews, because you're going to find, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit, a lot of people are willing to give it to you. So here we go. Now, we're throwing around the terms reviews and testimonials. So what is the difference? Are they the same thing? What's going on here? No, they're not the same thing. So testimonials are basically gathered, owned, and managed by you, the business that provided the service, the product. You're taking that that experience of requesting those reviews, and you're controlling it. You're got that narrative. You're getting them in the places that you want to have them. You own them. Reviews are collected and managed by a third party. So if you think of like Yelp or Facebook or Zillow, there is very little you can do with saying, hey, that wasn't even my customer, remove that, responding to some of them. There is this, these are important. Reviews are important because a lot of people trust those, but they're not necessarily owned kind of by you, right? It's that third party taking it. Did I explain that, Mark, or do you think I missed it? Are we good there?
No, I think you got it on point.
All right.
And we're going to kind of go through some specifics about each of those, and I think you'll enjoy the content.
All right, cool. All right. So again, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And I think one of the things that make us a little nervous, it's kind of like cold calling, you know, as agents, we know we got to do it, but doing it and getting over that fear of doing it is kind of difficult at times. So when should you ask for a review? How should you ask for the review? And Mark, do you want to take them through the stages of when and how?
Absolutely. You know, doing reviews it has to be intentional and a thoughtful process. And the key word here is a process. It's not springing it on to a client at the last minute without preparing them and saying, hey, I'm going to put up a camera in your face. Are you ready to do this? It's essentially important that you give them an understanding and an expectation that it's just part of the service that you provide. And so talking to them at the beginning when you're having those listing presentations and letting them know that it's important to you to provide an exceptional experience, it will kind of help you. It lends itself to them thinking, okay, this is someone who is really caring and understanding about how they're going to treat me during this transaction. And it gives you the opportunity to reinforce those positive vibes during certain stages of the transaction and kind of mitigate any fears that they would have about it. You know, if something that happens, as we go through transactions, we have opportunities where, you know, something will go wrong and then you come in and you save the day and you fix it. And, you know, bringing that up and reinforcing that, hey, this is going in the direction that we want can be incredibly powerful in terms of the impact that they give in that particular review. Talk about it at the closing table. Let them know when that energy is high that, hey, you know, you're going to go to your house right now and, you know, and do your own walkthrough and start your life at this new home. You know, I'm so excited for you. Thank you. Don't forget, I'm going to send you the opportunity to review this journey that we've had. And then after the closing, follow up with an actual thoughtful, intentional, organized process for their review. And we're going to dig deeper into what that looks like.
Absolutely. And I think the big key here is you're going to have various points that are an opportunity that you should take to ask for that. And I think it's important to note that it's not going to be a cookie cutter one size fits all for every single client you have. So where we have there on step 2, mitigate fears, understand what they're comfortable with. As you work during a transaction, you might find that they're super protective of their privacy. Facebook might not be a place you want to go ahead and send them for reviews. Maybe they're super self-conscious and they didn't even want to take a picture at the closing table. So, you know, the video testimonial might not be the path. So try and figure out, you know, what your personality of that client is and cater that during this process as well. All right. So setting expectations. So you're asking, and it's more than just saying, hey, can I get that review? every conversation you have and the materials that you send to request and communicate the review should highlight these things. And what we will see is the big thing. And Mark and I were talking earlier. It's as simple as, hey, when you get to the website, you might need to create a login, right? So prepare them. And then Mark, you want to take them through the rest of this here?
Right. If you're able to explain what they're going to experience, then there are no surprises, there are no hiccups, and they're more apt to follow the process through, right? How do you complete the review? What kinds of questions are they going to see on the review? What kind of things do they need to say? Well, Mark, I don't really know, what to write about. Here's an opportunity to remind them of those things that you were talking about during the transaction. Some of the challenges that you overcame, and some of the fun experiences or unique stories that happened during the actual home buying process. And then let them know that it's going to how long it's going to take. I'm a big fan of, if it's a 10-minute, if it takes 10 minutes, tell them it's going to take 9 minutes. If it's going to take 5 minutes, tell them it's going to take 4 minutes. It's not for you to be, dishonest, but because everyone goes at different stages, but it's to set an expectation that they're going to have 9 minutes or 4 minutes in the day to be able to kind of give the kind of feedback that you need to continue to market and grow your business.
Absolutely. And I think that how long it takes is key, because, they're unfamiliar with the process. Most likely they're not running out doing time. So when you say, give me a review, they have no clue. Is that a 5-minute thing, or is that going to take an hour? Do I got to learn the platform? Yeah, it's just like, oh my goodness. So again, setting expectations really does help guide and mitigate those fears and make them feel comfortable. And it makes it easy, because it really needs to be easy. So when you're creating your request, and one of the things you saw on the previous slide is that, like, after the closing table, you send them an email. This email could probably have several different attachments. It can have examples of other reviews. It can have questions that inspire them. And Mark's created an awesome list of inspirational questions that he's going to take you through. But make it easy. Send the links to the site. Just say, hey, head over to Google or Facebook or Zillow. Send the links. Make it, the more likely it is that they'll do it. And this little example here, we had Brad Duggar do a negotiating guru class not that long ago, and we got some fan mail, and we literally took the 2 sentences that this agent took the time out, and we put it on a fun graphic and put our logo on there, and we can post this on social media. So, there's a lot of value in doing these, but again, you're not going to get them if you don't request them and you don't make it easy. So those questions for thought, here you go, Mark. These are, I think this is an amazing list. I'll let you go on it.
Yeah, these are really quick, easy to address, easy to get them thinking about what that review is going to look like, for you to perhaps include, as Kara said, as an additional, a PDF that goes along with your actual email, or perhaps it's embedded, or maybe it's a part of the text of that email. What made you decide to buy and sell your home? What brought you to this decision, and what is it about me that you chose? What is it that you liked? You were looking for something in an agent. I obviously fulfilled that something. What was it? Why is it that you chose me out of all the agents that you could have chosen? What did you like best about the experience that we had? What do you think I could have done better? Because I'm constantly trying to improve myself, and I really want to know how I can provide those exceptional experiences. Can you think of a particular moment in the transaction where it was really memorable or funny or interesting, or and would you recommend me to your friends and your family? So all of these questions allow their brain juices to kind of start working and get into that zone of that experience and reliving some of the moments that they've had, which will facilitate a better quality review as well.
Absolutely. And I can't see the chat right now, but some of you might be saying, can we have a copy of these slides? And it's probably because of these questions right here. And I can happily report that Mark and I are working on putting together like a one pager that you guys will have, that'll have some of the key points that we are covering today and some of these questions, so that you can take them and use them to create your questions for thought, your guide for requesting reviews and testimonials. So hang tight, and we'll get that to you guys in the next few days. All right, so good news, we got reviews, right? So what do we do with them? We literally post them everywhere and anywhere you can. So, I mean, Mark, this is, I mean, the opportunities are endless here.
Absolutely. Everywhere. Everywhere. We want to make sure that you leverage your time and the elements that you have to promote and to market your business as much as you possibly can. So whenever you're posting anything, you should think of 3 or 4 different ways you can actually post that content, whether it's your social media platform or whether it's just standard, it's on your personal website. Post everywhere. Use those reviews as filler content. Use them as a way to accentuate a topic that may not have anything to do with the review, but that review speaks to. You know, that's a great opportunity for you to kind of pepper in some of that, you know, attaboys that you've been getting in order to create and make a point. Find ways to incorporate reviews into stories. There are multiple ways that you can think dynamically in terms of reviews, that you can use them to facilitate an interest or to spark some kind of interest in what you offer in terms of your services.
Absolutely. And, you know, one of my favorite things is using them to get business. So in your listing presentations, you know, when you sit down for buyers, and the cool part is if you strategize correctly and you get to know like what a prospective client is interested in, then what will happen is, like, let's say someone comes to you and they're like, yeah, I'm interviewing agents to do short sale or list my $1 million condo. If you go to your toolbox of reviews and you happen to have something as relevant to getting that business, or a review that can help you tell that story, use it. So, and then again, use them in different places. So print marketing, your presentation, social media. And I mean, when I got started in real estate, I worked as a marketing director for a really well-known agent in the Annapolis, Maryland area. And we lived on testimonials. And one day we helped this couple sell this beautiful big house. All the kids had moved out. Then they like moved down to an island or like one of the Key West kind of Florida areas, sold it on, bought a condo on the beach. And that was a story that we could tell. And we ended up telling that with a postcard and a picture of them. And, you know, people, it'll dig at their heartstrings a little bit. And stories, people can relate to those. So definitely use them if you got them. All right, now this is the buzzkill moment that I'm going to give to Mark. He gets to give the bad news. I'll let you take this. Permission and ownership over.
Yeah, I'm the bad news guy. Well,
I'm too happy on a Friday to give it to you guys. So
obviously, as agents and who have a responsibility to our small businesses and our MLSs, you need to make sure that you're aware of your state and local laws in regards to the ownership and the ability for you to utilize your content. Some of the reviews that you've gotten, there may be some states that are require you to have some kind of agreement with the client, letting them know that you'll be utilizing it for marketing. Most of the brokerages that we're a part of, they may have some type of legal resource for you to be able to ask that question of. So that's a good idea to have that, just to kind of make sure that all things are good on all edges and all fronts. And try to be thoughtful about the platforms that you use and you send your reviews to, or send your clients to make a review, because what will they allow you to take ownership of that content, or do they take ownership of the content? What happens if you change your brand? What if you move to another brokerage? What is it going to look like? What's the process for you to be able to adapt and edit when those times come up. So although it's not the fun stuff to think about, it's stuff that we probably necessarily should.
Yes, absolutely. So get it in writing, photo releases, all that fun stuff. But this really kind of is a good segue into our next part, which is the written reviews. And there are so many platforms. Look, I mean, these are just a few. There are so many platforms out there. What do you pick? And where do you send your clients? Because the answer of no, they just email them to me, that's not necessarily going to be what you choose. So what we're going to want you to do is take a second. Think about your demographic. Think about the area. What home finder or Zillow or Realtor.com, Redfin, what's popular in your area? Where do a majority of your customers shop? That's really going to start dictating where you post. Now, let's be honest, Facebook, if you are a millennial and up, is probably my favorite place to get reviews posted to. Not only being able to take a review you might be able to get somewhere else and put it in a fun graphic and post it there, but also to get your people to go to your community page and leave that little nugget of review right there on your page. I think that speaks volumes. And again, I bring back the Amazon thing. My sister-in-law, she told me that she was getting paid to write Amazon reviews. My heart broke in half, right? So now I'm like, is it real? Is it not real? I have no idea. But when it's on Facebook, a lot of times it's connected to that person's profile. And hey, that's a real life person that tells a real life story if you even look at that one profile picture. So I really like Facebook. What about you, Mark? What are your kind of favorites here with choosing a platform?
I'm a huge Facebook fan as well. And Facebook, having your business page and having the reviews done on the business page allows you to facilitate the kind of environment where there's heavy engagement and interaction, and you're more apt to get people to do reviews. And the reviews are great in terms of being able to be genuine, and they allow you to respond to the negative reviews as well. But maybe your business isn't surrounded by Facebook. Maybe you have leads that you buy from Zillow, or that's where you do most of your lead generation. So look at Zillow's capabilities and what it is that they do well. One of the things that Zillow does is it factors the leads into zip codes, or the reviews into zip codes. So it's a great way for you to be able to supplement what you're doing in terms of how your business works. So looking at how your business works, identifying, hey, maybe it's realtor.com for you. Some of you may be foodies and you're on Yelp all the time and you really like that interface. That's an opportunity for you to utilize their review section as well. But one of the things that you should do always when you use a platform like this is you want to make sure you're responsive. Thank you for that great review.
Absolutely.
If it wasn't not so great review, come across with sincerity and see what you can do to address it, because everyone who's watching is going to be able to go, wow, here's a person that takes responsibility for that customer and client experience.
Absolutely. And I think what you're going to find with these is it is not a one size fits all. And I would tell you, if I were in your shoes, I would probably have mix it up. If I have a fun person who likes Facebook, I would ask them to do the review there. I'd have a few that I direct to Zillow or maybe Yelp. And Google is a great place. And again, when you're looking at your target market, you also have to remember the direct versus indirect kind of marketing strategy. The people who are on Zillow and Realtor.com and all these other sites that are home shopping sites, those are people actually looking for an agent or a house, right? So those are active, hopefully ready, willing, and able buyers. Where if you're kind of doing more like print marketing that you're sharing the reviews on, or you're blasting stuff on Facebook, that's not necessarily direct people ready to buy or sell right now. However, Mark has this really what did you call it? Micro something or another that it leaves?
Micro impressions on the brain. So
that is it.
It is a great way for you to keep popping up on news feeds, and keep planting these seeds in their mind so that when they are ready to pull the trigger, when they are ready to make a decision about what their real estate needs are, you already have a space of value in their mind, and it's more likely that they'll think of you and react to you and reach out to you.
Yeah, micro impression seeds. I love it. Just drop little breadcrumbs all throughout everything. So, all right. So that is our fun, just kind of written testimonials, how to get them, what to say, setting those expectations, where to direct them to. And now we're going to get into one where if and we've all kind of preached it a little bit, whether you've been on a class with Mark, myself, Brad, Melanie, Christy, we love to talk about video and how instrumental it is because, a picture is worth 1,000 words, but video is worth like 1,000,000. So we would like to challenge you all to take it another step if your client is excited and willing and you can overcome those fears and do some video testimonials. These are great. You can put them on your website. You can put them on YouTube, Google, the Facebook. The opportunities are endless. You can send them as a follow-up link after you have a listing or a buyer presentation. So video testimonials are a way to go. Now, you might be saying, oh my God, I don't have a video studio, right? Well, you don't need a video studio. So Melanie, if you don't mind, we had a video class, I want to say it was 2 weeks ago or last week, I think 2 weeks ago, and it was just video 101. So she's going to put a link in the chat box, and if you missed that class and you want some video 101, go ahead, request the link to see that. That really simplifies how to do and create a great video. And what you're going to see is it's not all that hard. It's literally a cell phone, or I am on a camera with or a laptop with a camera. And I got this funny little thing which I showed in the video class with like a little ring on it. It's got a phone holder. It can dim and change colors, all kinds of stuff. But I got that for like $30 on Amazon. So it's important to invest. Now, I will say Mark knows a little bit more on the techie side. So if you've got a really old phone and he knows the things, you might want to think about upgrading it, but most of them will do fine, right, Mark?
Yeah, if you have a phone that that it's 2 to 3, even in some cases 4 years old, you're definitely going to have high definition capability. And that's beyond what the kind of video that we see on most social media platforms and even a lot of websites. So you definitely have the quality that you're able to make a really nice video. And in most of the newer phones, you have 4K capability, which gives you, that incredible sharp resolution. And so being able to use your phone as a base, to Kara's point, you don't need a studio. What you do need is to take that step and to learn how to use your phone. In a lot of cases, the operating systems have all of the editing tools right there on your phone.
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely take us up on the video thing. And this last slide that we're going to do is one of my favorite slides, because this is some great ideas that we have about the types of video testimonials. So I'm going to be quiet for a minute unless I come up with a crazy idea in the middle, and I'm going to let Mark talk through these ones.
Sure. Changing up the video content. Try not to do the same type of testimonial every single time, because it gets old and in terms of variety and interest, and to keep building back that audience that they're coming back and returning and seeing what else you're doing. Try to change it up a little bit. We have some types of testimonials, and again, we're going to include this in your quick reference guide as well. But for example, you may want to do a video that talks about the client's journey. That testimonial will be maybe asking some pointed questions to the client, and maybe they're just talking about their story. They're sharing their story. Again, you'll know what kind of client that you're dealing with and which one of these will be best suited to them. Maybe you have a really fun and interesting client that has a light heart and an energy level that's high, and you have an inner director for a Marvel studio, that you want to create something with special effects, and maybe you have that technology background, and you want to create something that's different and unique. I've seen a testimony that was James Bond themed even at one time.
You should have played that, Mark. Why didn't you share that with me?
Yeah, right. And I saw that when when this was probably like 6 years ago. And you have something like, think about holistically that journey and find the right one that would kind of fit that that particular client. For example, you may have bought a client that bought a not so great looking house, but it had the bones that they needed and the space that they needed, and they had a vision for what that's going to look like. What about a before and after kind of testimonial? Have them show us what they did and how they appreciated you finding the home of their dreams for them. And I like to call that the afterglow.
Glow.
Glow. And that's trademark, so you're going to have to pay me a fee in order to use that. But
oh, okay. You could, yeah.
You get the idea.
But yeah, no, so I think, again, it goes back to telling a story. And I will tell you, I've sat down with so many real estate agents and I asked them, why real estate? That has always been my first question, because as you all know, it is not an easy career path at all. It takes a lot of work, dedication, but everybody's answer usually, it's not money. It's not flexibility. It's, I just love working with people, helping them find a home that fits them, their life, their story. And people connect with those stories. I mean, hopefully you tell such a good story that it gives chills. And there's tons of stories that, people have to upsize their house. It's for first home buyer. She's pregnant. Maybe you got a businessman and you were able to get him over asking for his properties. Use this. And while we're saying that these are ideas for video testimonials, these are really ideas for any testimonial that you guys can get. And again, testimonials being ones that we control and own and can utilize, get out there and get them. Any closing thoughts? We're trying to keep this brief. We know it's a Friday. Some of you might have work to do and open houses to prepare for, or happy hours to get to. But you got anything else, Mark?
I think that's it for me. I can talk about tech and video forever. So be careful about that door opening up for me.
Yeah, we did have to totally bring him back on a couple of the slides. I'm like, we can always do a testimonial and reviews 102 class. So, but if you have any questions, go ahead and type them in the chat box. We'll happily answer them for you. But again, I want to plug our fall session. So next Friday, Mobile Mastery, the must-have apps for real estate agents. This is going to be a pretty fun class because today you got Mark and I presenting back and forth together, but I think you're going to have upwards of 4 or 5 of us on the phone next week talking to you guys just briefly about some of our favorite apps. And then the best part, we're going to take December off, but winter classes are going to start in January. So this is kind of a little, sneak peek of what we have coming up. We got some short sale and bankruptcy pitfalls coming up. I've been begged to do a TikTok class. So if the political environment is right, we're going to do TikTok 101. Yeah. And then we're also,
fun class.
Oh, it's going to be fun. And then we're also going to take some time, especially in January, and we're going to do a technology series. So a lot of what you're going to see in the Mobile Mastery, the apps class, we're going to go into depth in January and do classes on things like Canva and Trello, Title Steps, Zachem. We're really going to get in here. And then, of course, our lovely Christy and lovely Melanie, who is actually our amazing moderator today. Thank you, Melanie. They do zip forms and .loom classes regularly. So they're always available, except for in December, we're taking a break. So we'll have a great thing coming up. And then the last really exciting thing that we're going to roll out in the new year is we're going to do some agent panels. So we're going to look at some of the top producing agents or people that are doing great stuff in the industry from all across the nation. And we're going to bring them together and ask them a bunch of questions and make them sweat it out and give us all their secret sauce and recipe. So it's going to be an exciting time. Melanie, do we have any questions in the chat?
We don't have any questions just yet. We have many comments about how wonderful the class has been and all of the great ideas. Many requests for the video replays, our expertise on demand. We did have a request when you send out the follow-up materials for this class, would you be able to include links to where our audience can find how they would set up to do receive reviews on Facebook, on Google, on Zillow, etc.?
Yeah, so that's, I mean, that'll be extensive. That might take us more than a couple days to get, but maybe that deserves to be another class, because really what you're going to have to do in a lot of those is you're going to have to set up a profile. And if you have a profile, once you get that, you can manage it and you'll be able to do those direct links. So really it's going to come down to you creating that profile on, you know, Zillow, or Yelp, or Realtor.com. And, you know, I did a class actually it's been a couple of years now, to a bunch of agents, and it was literally like, let's take all of the home shopping apps, all of the places that we would have a profile, make sure all the pictures were correct, make sure all the data was correct, because sometimes, you know, we wrote, hey, we've been in business 20 years and 10 years will go by, and it's really 30. So maybe that's time to bring that class up again. Why are you laughing, Mark?
Yeah, it's important to have your fundamentals down, you know, your current headshot and all the things and the tools that you have for your business. You want to make sure that that stuff is right on point before you begin this process, definitely.
And that might be a fun thing to refresh, like everybody going into the new year. Hopefully we're not slow and we're still super busy in the markets, but I think we could do that. So our winter and our spring classes aren't finalized yet. So you know what, hang tight, but we will include something one way or another on how to kind of do that basis of those profiles.
Excellent. I love this question. Can you remind me, with video, do you hold the phone horizontal or vertical for the best results?
It's so funny. So it's going to depend on where you post. So you're going to see in that video class that I did. So if you think about it, you watch a TV a lot of times, and the TV is most likely horizontal. Your laptop is horizontal, right? Your screen is. But then if you get into like Facebook or Instagram and you start scrolling through those platforms, you're going to see that it's really more of a box, and or you're holding the phone upright, right? So that is going to dictate what profile you use, will dictate which way. Some people say horizontal is old school, which I don't agree with. I don't know who brought that up, maybe the generation after me. But they say this is the new school way, but again, it's going to depend, and you'll see all of that in the video class.
Yeah, and you need to really just look at where you're going to be posting the videos, because that's going to inform that, and what kind of video it's going to be, because you'll see Facebook stories or Instagram stories are all, you know, vertical in format, and it's for a reason. They want you to kind of be drawn in. However, as you're looking at a news feed, or if you're looking at YouTube, you'll see that they're on a horizontal. So I know that's not a do this answer, however, but it's I hope it answers your question and you're a little bit more informed about it.
Yeah, it's basically not a one size fits all. Just think of the platform and how they hold it, and what fills up the screen. All right.
So at this point, we don't have any more questions. Again,
which means we did our job, I think.
I was about to say, doesn't that mean that we are exceptional presenters?
I agree with you, Mark. I'm just going to go ahead and pat ourselves, and a virtual pat for you. This was super fun, and we appreciate you all coming on today. And Melanie, thank you so much for being our behind the scenes MC. And yeah, we are just absolutely. And we're going to have this recorded. So if you want to watch it again or send it to a friend, we will have it posted up on the Expertise On Demand site, usually by Monday afternoon. Have a great weekend. Go sell a house, and thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone.